Welcome to your Mercury and Leo horoscopes for all 12 Zodiac signs. I'm Everett Carty, and I want to welcome you to the Cosmic Sky podcast, where I discuss all things astrology. This podcast is on YouTube and Spotify, and I encourage you to follow me on both places, because I'll be posting on both places. So I want to talk about coming in with a lot of anxiety around my channel because one of my accounts didn't get reinstated yet. And I just want to remind you that if I lose access to my other channels, if they don't get it reinstated, then I'm not going to be gone. I'm going to be on the internet. I'm going to be on Spotify. I'm going to be on Substack. That's where I'm going to be. So if I should ever not be able to update my YouTube channel, then I will be in those places, and I will be on TikTok, and I will be everywhere else. Just so you know. I have waited over 30 days for them to get back to me with an appeal response. Over 30 days. And it's really, really wearing on me emotionally. And so, before I even get into what I wanted to talk about today, I hope that it will be fine. I hope that it will go through, and I'm can be as hopeful as I can be. But apparently, if the channel is not doesn't get reinstated, then I'll lose access to all my other ones. So, if I should lose access to them, then I will still be doing videos. And I will leave YouTube behind. And the only videos that I'll be doing are my podcast episodes. Nothing else. Nothing else. Just this podcast alone. And so I want to remind you that the link to follow me on Spotify is in my description. The link to follow me on Substack is in my description. And that's what I would encourage you. Now, I want to delve into your horoscopes. And, really, nobody deserves to be going through any of this mess that happened right as Mercury went retrograde because of YouTube's big mistake with getting rid of all these YouTube channels all of a sudden. And all these, the AI getting rid of channels just suddenly. And I don't know about YouTube. If they don't approve of my channel, I'm just going to have to leave them behind. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. It's been in limbo for many, many days, and I don't know. Sorry to ruin the mood. I do not restart things over anymore. I'm going to, and that's the hard and fast rule that I make for myself. Now, I'm going to do this video talking about Mercury and Leo for all 12 signs. I don't want my voice to be taken away on this platform. I don't want anything to happen that's negative, that's shocking, that's scary. But otherwise, it just proves how unfeeling and mean-spirited this world can be at times. That life can sort of suck the life out of you sometimes. And it doesn't have to be that way. If, we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's very, very uncertain right now, and it's been uncertain for over a month. So let's hope that things change for the better, for me personally. And now let us get into your horoscopes for all 12 signs for Mercury and Leo. I gave you the part 1 video, which went over the collective of Mercury and Leo. I went over the aspects, and I went over the qualities of Mercury and Leo in the birth chart. Or the transit of what it means generally. And in this video, I'm going to be going through all 12 zodiac signs, from Aries to Pisces. So, you're seeing this on August 10th. I'm scheduling this out. That's how I want to do this. And so, Alrighty. So now let us start out with Aries. First of all, I'm going to go through all 12 signs. You're going to follow along for your sun, moon, and rising. You want to pay attention to that, because that's all going to be very, very important. If you don't know your moon and rising sign, you can go to astro.com and look up that information. Find out which signs your moon and rising sign is, and follow along in this video, because you'll get a lot more out of this video if you watch for all three, or you watch for one of these. Okay, so now I'm going to start with Aries. So, the thing for Aries that I want to talk to you about is, what creative power do you have in your life? Because Aries is a creator. Aries is a manifesting sign. Aries wants to create its own reality. And, what creative power do you have if you are an Aries? Where you can make things happen in your life, where you can take action in your life, where you can actively be a participant in your life, where you can co-create with the universe of what's going on. And you can make things happen. You can very, very deeply and very, very, empoweringly make things happen. And Aries is a sign of making things happen. It's a sign of action and assertion. So how can you take action in your life? That you may be deeply assertive, and you may be very, very bold in your life. And that may be a possibility. You may want to speak out. You may want to be more bold and more more proud and more liberated to be fully yourself, and this may be something that you're wrestling with and that you want to act upon during Mercury and Leo, is this quality of wanting to be true to who you are. And Aries does want it to be true to who it is. So that is your message. And you don't have to do this life alone, Aries. You can connect with the divine. You can connect to spirit, even though you feel that you must live your life entirely on your own and do everything on your own. Like, I think Aries can suffer from loneliness because it's like you feel like you don't have support. You feel like you don't have help from the universe. You don't have help from spirit to be able to live your life according to how you want to live it. What you want to do for your own happiness and contentment and well-being. Even though you feel like you must do it all on your own, and that there's no one to help you, that there's no support system, then you have support and you have help. You don't have to rely on just your own self and your own mind and your own desires and whatever. That you can rely on your own mind, on your own perspective, on your own well-being and in that sense. So you have a divine support system. You have a divine support team with who you with what you're doing, and you can easily you can easily reach out to your support system and connect to your higher power, connect to your angels, connect to your guides, and have help. So that's what I want to say for Aries. Now for Taurus, you may be focusing on a goal that you may want to stay the course of or really, really commit to in a really, really strong, determined way. Maybe it's, maybe it's a long-term goal, or maybe it's something that you have a very, very strong willpower towards. That you may be just so driven to achieve. Maybe just so driven to achieve and accomplish, a certain goal, or whatever. That you may be so fixated on the goal, because remember, Taurus is a fixed sign. It tends to fixate on something. It tends to hyper-focus on it. So, you may be really, really deeply you may be very, very deeply focused on whatever goal that you are initiating in your life. Now, what problems get you going? What problems get you going that you want to truly dig into for your own peace of mind? What are those issues? What are those issues going on? Where you want to investigate. Where you want to really, really do all these things for feeling grounded, for feeling peaceful. And I think that feeling peace is so important for Taurus, because and especially for me who has the Taurus North Node, like feeling peace, needing to ground my energy, needing to become grounded, become stable, become centered, needing to become earthbound to what is going on in my life. And so what issues? Excuse me. What issues get you going that you want to truly dig into for your own peace of mind? What are those issues? That's your challenge. And then what ideas or notions are you unwilling to let go? Because Taurus can be fixed earth. Taurus can be deeply determined. It can be fixed. It can be, fixated on, what it's doing, on what it's trying to commit to. So what ideas are you focused on? Or are you stubbornly holding on to in your life? That that you're unwilling to let go of. What are those ideas, Taurus? Because Taurus can latch on to certain ideas, latch on to certain, beliefs, and it can very be focused in on that, and you have a difficult time with giving it up. And letting it go. So, okay. So, you may be unwilling to let go of certain things, certain ideas or certain ways of thinking about life, and so yeah. So I don't want to overemphasize that point. So then, Gemini. Now, what can you open up to in terms of learning? When it comes to learning, because this is, Gemini's, avenue is learning, taking in new information. So, you're learning all these intellectual subjects, and you're learning literature, history, like learning about writing and learning about all these kind of things. This may be a good time for learning for you. This may be a time when you may want to be more open-minded to what is going on in your life. Now, focusing your mind and letting it not get scattered and distracted is also very, very important, where you're not, going in all these directions and not focusing your attention on something, not focusing your will on something, and really, really committing to it, because the high road of air is the high road of air is attention. What do you put your attention on is really, really important. What you focus your energy on. So, it's all about intending that this is going to be my focus. This is going to be what I tend to, and your thoughts create reality. I tend to dwell on the negatives. I tend to dwell on what's going wrong. And so it's about retraining your mind to focus on something positive, something optimistic. focusing on something good, focusing on something wonderful for your life. And that is, what we need to focus on. And then open-mindedness, becoming open-minded, is really, really key. So that's another thing. So in Cancer, we're needing to be more grounded in your thinking, where you're not always emotional, not always, subjective, but maybe you become more objective in your thinking, maybe become more logical in your thinking. Maybe you have long-term plans that you don't want to, that you want to intend for your family and home life also. So what are those long-term plans? What are those, plans that you want for your life? That you want your family to carve out, that you want your, your life to be set up in a certain way, and you want your family to be, doing all this and having all these characteristics and traits. And then maybe there's new news around family matters that may come up for you. Maybe some family is sick, or a new person's relocating, or something like that comes in. Yeah. So then that is Cancer. Now Leo, how can you use diplomacy skills? The skills of tact in your friend circle. This is all about your friend circle. Really, really being diplomatic and being tactful is being able to communicate truth in a kind, loving, soulful way, where you're not just aggressively, just putting others down and really, really hurting others in that regard. Instead of being all about the ego. Instead of being so absorbed into what's going on with the of that. So then you're not always looking at the bigger, broader outlook in your social circle also. Maybe it's important to balance looking at the big picture over your creative goals, over your creative life and passions, versus what each individual is feeling, based off of the different details of what's going on, based off of validating each person's feelings, and looking at what each person is feeling, and taking note of their emotions, and holding space for their emotions, wanting to understand their emotions. And through that you focus on the details, through that you focus on nurturing relationships and nurturing connections in this friend circle. And you want to balance what is logical and pragmatic with what is emotional and heart-based, not only looking at what is just emotional, and subjective with what you feel, with what you want to express passionately, with what is logical and, as I said before. So then Virgo, how can you show open-mindedness instead of rigid discernment? Because Virgo can be deeply discriminating, like, oh, I want to put that idea down, I want to put that idea in another category. Instead of pushing out everybody else's opinions of you, and what's what's going on. Can you be open-minded and open to the new possibilities, instead of so rejecting of all these things going on with that kind of a thing. So then you want to be more understanding on a mental level of what you're communicating, first of all, of what you're trying to express, so that you can show up with more integrity, so that your communication is based off of more integrity and more right-mindedness, more morality, more from a moral compass. And then you may want to see things from a more open-minded and broad perspective. You may want to be more open-minded. You may want to be more open. And willing to see both sides. Now, Libra, you may want to be more assertive in your communication, as opposed to being a pushover, someone who doesn't speak the truth, because the opposite side of Libra is Aries, and Aries is about being assertive and speaking your truth, and being very forthcoming with with that kind of thing. So there could be this quality coming in, and then how can you entertain a crowd with creating more art, with creating more beauty, with creating more light and love, and spreading light into the world, spreading goodness into the world, where you let your creativity shine through, where you actively are creative in this sense. You naturally are artistic with, because Libra is all about painting, all about art, all about like all that stuff. And so you want to show that to a crowd. You want to put that out there at this time. You don't want to hold it in, because Leo is about letting it out and expressing it. And being very, very bold about it. So then, you want to do something not because the other wants you to do it. Not doing something because the other person wants you to engage with this activity, do this thing with them, but because it's fun and you want to do it. It feels fulfilling to you. It feels exciting to you, and you personally want to make it happen in your own life. This is what can happen for you, Libra. Now, Scorpio, now this can become more creative. Maybe you have a creative passion that you that you put a lot of intensity into, that you put a lot of energy into, that you put a lot of your life force energy into creating this passion, into making this passion real and material made. This can be, what you're doing with this. So you may be very, very into that. And then with this creative passion, you can shine a bright light for others, where you can hold space for all the difficult experiences that people go through. Because this is the beautiful quality about Scorpio, is that you can hold all these experiences. You can be very, very kind and very, very loving toward the person, with being very, very sympathetic towards them, with all they're going through, with all their difficult, with all, with being able to be, with being able to walk them through it, and be someone who soothes them with the difficult experiences. And I personally need that Scorpio to soothe me right now. So, you may be obsessed with ideas that may trigger your desire to potentially investigate and delve deep into these ideas, where you're delving deep into the grand ideas, but you're not becoming obsessed with them. You're not overly fixating on them and, focusing on them and, doing all this kind of thing. Where you're not, we're not getting too absorbed into it. That's really huge for Scorpio. Now for Sagittarius, you may want to speak your truth at this time and share your beliefs, have confidence in your beliefs, because Sagittarius wants to openly share what it believes and what's true for it, and what it finds interesting and what it feels passionate about, because Sagittarius has its beliefs, it has its mindsets and everything like that, and it wants to be open about it. And maybe you want to be bold in your communication. Maybe being courageous to speak to the unspeakable, to speak to these very, very difficult things going on in life. Speaking with bravery to all of these things going on. And then whatever you set out for yourself to do, whatever quest that you want to go on, you can make it happen. You can go out and achieve that quest. And this is about believing in yourself, Sagittarius. Believing in yourself that you can do it. Believing in yourself that you have the power to achieve what you want to achieve. Have the power to go after what you desire, what really fascinates you. And then Capricorn. So, where are you taking life so seriously, Capricorn? Because Capricorn tends to work so heavily, labor away at the desk, labor away at the, the job, and do all this kind of thing, where you can lighten up, let your hair down, and do what brings you joy, do what brings you enthusiasm, do what uplifts you, do what you're passionate about, your creative passion. Where you can, do this kind of a thing. And what have you been putting off dealing with that you need to get done off your to-do list? Maybe it's a creative thing, for instance, or maybe it's something material, maybe it's a daily routine. Like, this is a good time to get that stuff done, get that stuff cleared away, and get that stuff accomplished for yourself in your own life. So focusing on your to-do list and doing all this is very, very important. And then how are you consistently striving to create something that's best for the long term? Because Capricorn is always seeking to do this, seeking to create something that we can all benefit from, in that sense. And so what are you creating, and how sustainable is it for your life, for yourself, for your well-being? Because the structure really, a building lasts for decades, for centuries even, for years, not just 2 weeks or a day or 2 months or whatever, or 6 months. So what structures are you planting in your life for the long term? Now, Aquarius, you may want to focus in on the spiritual side of human nature. You may want to focus on the empathetic side, not just what's going on intellectually, with your own thoughts, with your own mind, with your own perspective of what you're experiencing on the intellectual level. Where you are focusing on where you're focusing on that that deeper intuition, that spirituality, that deep kind of thing going on. So so where where can you focus on what is spiritual going on with you here? And then it's about being kind and generous to others in your communication. It means being open to their perspective, because Aquarius can shut down other people's perspective. Aquarius can diminish other people's perspective because it's not as superior to their own. But at best, they can be open-minded, open to new ideas, open to new ways of thinking about things, and open to new ways of looking at the world. And so, this is how they can be. And then what do you do in your life that is right-brained, that is spiritual, that is intuitive, that you can focus your energy towards, that you can direct your energy towards? Maybe you need to redirect your energy to some extent out of the left brain stuff and into the right brain, the spiritual kind of thing going on here. And Pisces, maybe you can use your vivid imagination to tell a story, potentially. Where you're letting your imagination run wild with creative projects, where you're being very, very vivid in this sense with what you're doing. And you are doing all this. Now, you're inspiring others to boldly and courageously trust their intuition and their knowing, but also to inspire them to claim and name what they say. Not only to trust their inner senses and your inner guidance. Your inner guidance is really who you are. Your inner intuition is that most authentic part of who you are, because it's linked to your soul self. It links to your links to your higher self. It links to your most intuitive self of well-being. And you may want to trust your intuition. Encourage others to do the same, because your intuition points to what feels right in the moment, what feels right. Go to this certain place when it feels right. So you may want to trust your intuition a little bit more at this time. So that's all I have to say for Pisces, and really all 12 signs. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.